Now that we've built tables and relationships, it's time to design and build some queries, and these are another essential piece of any database. Queries are literally questions you ask of your data, and in fact, asking the question you want answered can be a good place to start. For example, how many orders did Tailspin Toys place last month? The language in that question points you to the orders table, and from there, you select the fields you want to see, build the query, and then run it. And that's the basic process or flow for most queries. You ask your question, and then you pick a data source, the tables or queries with the data that will answer that question. And from there, you pick the fields you want to see in the result, which is also called a data set, by the way, and add any criteria. In this example, the criteria filter the results to Tailspin Toys for the month of May, but criteria can do a lot more than that, and we'll look at them in the next video. And you can use queries for more than just answering questions. They're like a multi-tool or combination pliers. They can be one of the handiest tools in any database. For example, they can provide the data for forms and reports, and they can also make bulk changes to your data. Now, you can build several types of queries in any database, and to show you what you can do in Access, I'll select Create, then Query Design. I'll close the Show Table dialog because I want you to see these commands. These are the types of queries you can create. You've already seen me build a select query. They're the most common, and they're how you get answers out of your data. A Make Table query lets you select records from an existing table and save them as a new table. That can be handy, say, if you import a big Excel file and you want to break some of that data into separate tables. Now, you run these next three queries against existing data. Append queries add data to existing tables. Update queries change existing data. And delete queries do just that. They delete data. You use a crosstab query when you need to display summary data such as averages or sums. For example, if you need to see sales by region, you use a crosstab query. Here's what one looks like in the Query Designer. And the results look like this. You can see this one returns sales data per quarter. A union query lets you combine multiple select queries into a single result, and this is something you do when you need to see data from unrelated sources. Pass-through queries let you connect to a large database, such as, say, Microsoft SQL Server, and process queries on that database. When you do that, Access becomes a front end, a set of tools that help you run the larger database. And finally, data definition queries let you create or modify tables and indexes. The thing is, Access provides so many other ways to create tables and change indexes, you'll probably never use this type of query. So for the rest of this course, I'm going to concentrate on select queries because they're the ones you'll use the most. And to build one, I'll go to the Create tab and select the Query Wizard. If you're new to queries, this is a nice place to start. Choose Simple Query Wizard and the Phone Numbers table. I'll select the customer and phone number fields. Choose Next. Change the name if I want to, display the results, and select Finish. There's the result, but you probably have a couple questions. For example, what kind of query did you just create, and how do you know whether you're calling someone's office phone or their fax machine? You can answer those questions by adding some data to the query, and to do that, you select Home, then View, then Design View. This starts the Query Designer. The designer shows you the data source. In this case, it's a table, but it can also be a query, and the fields involved in the query. The ribbon will always tell you the type of query, and in this case, you can see it's a select query. To add the type field and make the phone list easier to use, you just drag and drop. And to see the results, you select Run here on the Design tab. Now, you can only do so much with the Query Wizard. For example, it doesn't let you add formulas, so for the rest of this course, I'll use the Designer. And next, I'll show you how to build a select query from scratch with the Designer, and how to add some basic criteria to help you answer your questions.